Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of the Carrie Roldan Show, where we spend 30 minutes or so a week having conversations that matter to the mompreneurs, body, mind, and business. I'm your host, Carrie Roldan, and I'm a wife, a mother, a runner, a best-selling author, a personal growth junkie, and your total business BFF. And I help mompreneurs to find their niche, create an offer that serves them, and market it in a way that resonates, but still feels totally authentic. So if this sounds like what you need, grab my new ebook where it's called Get Where You're Going, Girlfriend, 6 Steps to Actually Achieving Your Outrageous Goals. And in it, you will learn how to get out of your own way, stop self-sabotaging, and get into inspired action now. The 3 missing steps in the ask, believe, receive model of manifestation, and how and where to get the support you need to create the life and business you dream of. You can get all of those things right here at carrieroldan.com/ebook. Okay, so I created the Carrie Roldan Show because I have stumbled and continue to on my entrepreneurial journey, because the road to success thus far has been full of potholes, detours, struggles, and dead ends, not to mention self-doubt, fear, worry, marital tension, just the lot, right? Personal struggle, you name it. And I wanted to share with you what I continue to learn on my journey in the hopes that it can help you too on your mompreneurial business journey. I told you, I'm your business BFF. Okay, so I've also created a community in Google Plus called Business Besties. If you're a mompreneur or you have a business that serves mompreneurs or just a heart for mompreneurs, you can join that community. Just go into communities in Google Plus and search Business Besties, and you will find us. All right, I am so excited about today's topic. So first, you guys have to know what happened. I had a different guest scheduled for today, and she had to cancel. But before I knew she was canceling, I talked to Lynn Schulte. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have you on the show. I have to. I left that conversation with like total afterglow and just so excited and pumped about this woman, and was thinking to myself, how can I get her on my show sooner? And lo and behold, my guest for today had to bow out, and Lynn was able to come. So it's working out beautifully. And I'm just so grateful. And when things like that happen, I just feel like it's magical. And so you who are here with us live today, which I know Catherine and John already are. In just a second, I'll see who else is here. You're in for a treat. Okay, so let me tell you about it. The topic for today is ready to receive, then where are the clients and cash? So I'm so excited about this week's Carrie Roldan show because seems to be a theme amongst mompreneurs. So many of us who are spiritually minded and doing the work, right? We're reading all the books, we're saying our affirmations, we're doing what it is we think we need to be doing in order to receive, and yet for some reason, what we want, right, the vision of what we have for our business, the vision is separate from the reality. There is something in between us and receiving. And I know that I was in this place for a really long time. I also know I'm not alone here. There are hordes of us out there. We are conscious, we're heart-centered, and we give and we give and we give, and despite our best efforts, we have difficulty receiving. We can envision it, we know it's there for us, but thus far we've been unable to connect with it. So that's where Lynn comes in. Lynn Schulte uses intuition, energetic body work, and her extensive knowledge of aligning the male and female energies to empower women entrepreneurs to magnetize and receive more clients, yay, more money, yay, and more success and more love in their life. Who doesn't want that, right? Or maybe who does want that? I want that, and I know you guys do too. That's why she's here. Lynn teaches women how to claim their value, charge their worth, cultivate their creative expressions, and live more authentically by reconnecting to the power in their pelvis. Yes, I said pelvis. Lynn has been working with women for the past 25 years and has seen how the disconnect and energetic blocks many women have in their bodies, especially in the pelvis, truly stops them from being their fully empowered, radiant selves. I am so excited to talk with her this week to share my own pelvis experiences and to connect with the power in my own pelvis. And if that doesn't get you guys curious, I don't know what will. So on that note, and find out really what it all has to do with my business and yours. So on that note, Lynn, I'm putting your beautiful face on the screen. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Carrie, for having me. I love any chance I can get to talk about the pelvis.
Right? Which, okay, so this, I know that the people who just heard my intro are like, well, okay, I'm ready to receive, and what the heck does this have to do with my pelvis? Which brings me to my first question for you, which is, how the heck did you get to this place in your work? What led you?
Yeah.
What led you to the pelvis?
Right. Well, I'm a women's health physical therapist. I've been, like I said, working with women for 25 years. And just in the last couple of years, I started understanding the working more on an energetic aspect. So been helping women heal from the trauma of childbirth and pregnancy. And when I started incorporating more the energetics of that area and seeing where there were blockages and where it wasn't flowing, as I was helping women to get it flowing again, I kept hearing over and over again, Lynn, you changed my life. You changed my life. And I'm like, well, that wasn't my intention. You know, I'm just trying to help you learn how to get energy flowing in this area. And I really realized the power and the potential that really lies in this area. And so then I started to incorporate it into doing more online group programming and helping women entrepreneurs to be able to use this energy in a more effective way so that they can show up more powerfully and really claim their work. Because what the biggest thing I find is that women, they have this inability to really claim their gifts and to be able to put that out there. And so when you can't really claim what it is that you're doing, and I mean, like, you know, a lot of us think, well, yeah, I do this work, but I'm talking about like owning it and really having that energy down in your pelvic space, totally different. So I just started playing around with it and teaching women, and it just started changing their lives.
So I need to take a step back. First of all, I don't think I'm there yet. I think I'm like, I'm close. I'm closer than I used to be, but just hearing you talk, I'm recognizing, oh, I'm not sure I like 100% am claiming it. So this, I like to do this with my guests. I like to like get free stuff on the show. So we'll see where this leads. But second, I don't really get, or I kind of get what you're saying. So you helped people post childbirth, but you're talking about energy blockages. So explain to me that. Like, are you psychic? Are you an intuitive? Are you a shaman? What what does that mean?
Yeah. So when I started doing this, I did have my hands on everybody, right? And I was actually feeling the energy in their pelvic space through my hands. And I kept getting inside of me that, Lynn, you're supposed to be doing something more, something bigger. And so I was just seeing people one-on-one, you know, trading dollars for hours in my work. And all of a sudden, you know, I kept getting this nudge, you need to do something more, you need to do something bigger. And I'm like, well, how if I'm supposed to have my hands on everybody, you know? And that's when I actually learned, after I committed to myself and said, and made a huge financial commitment to building my business, it all came to me, and I learned that I was able to feel the energy in other people long distance. So I can sense the energy flow in what's happening in other women's, and my focus is the pelvic space. Because what I know is the pelvic bowl, it shows you how you're showing up in the world. So what's happening in your energy in your pelvic bowl will tell, you know, I can interpret it and say, well, this is what's happening. And every time I read someone's bowl, they're like, oh my God, that's it. That's totally how I'm showing up. And I think you experienced that as well, didn't you?
Yes, I'm sitting here smiling because, yes, I had a pelvic bowl reading, which we're going to take a step back and talk about that. But it was totally amazing. And I mean, like, to be honest, it sounds a little strange to me.
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, I put my business in there and got incredible insight. So first off, oh, and there's a question actually.
Yeah.
So I wanted to let you know that we have a couple of men here. So I want to make sure not to alienate them. One is John, who is an honorary mompreneur. The other is Marcus. Catherine's here as well, and I'll scroll down to see if we've got anybody else joining us. But everybody here is an entrepreneur, and some of them are male. And John's question is, does pelvis alignment and healing, etc., have anything to do with chakra alignment? Which actually, I'm going to take that question and run with it, because my experience with pelvic alignment is I started working on pelvic alignment because I was injured and I was a runner and I wanted to keep running and I want to be pain-free. But when I started working on that, that's when I got clarity in my business. That's when stuff started to take off. So I don't know, is there a connection?
Totally, totally. Yes, what I find, so when we're healing, if we have physical ailments, there's the physical side of working with the tissues, but there's also an energetic side. And working with both, when you can work with the physical muscles, tissues, tendons, and the energetics, your healing is so much more complete. And so is there a connection between the pelvic space? Well, the pelvis houses our first two chakras. And so what I'm finding in my work is that so many people are disconnected from this space. And we're not grounded. So we're not even, first off, we're not even in our pelvis. You know, we can't even like connect into it. And then we're not grounding our energy down into the earth. So a lot of people, especially as spiritual-based entrepreneurs, we like to live up here in our, head and go up to the heavens, but yet we're walking this earth. So we need to have that connection to the ground and have our energy flowing down and flowing in. And so this works for guys and women as well, because we both have, our pelvis is, we have a left side and a right side of our body. And our pelvis is, I call it a mixing bowl. And it's a great place for us to mix both our masculine and feminine energies. And whether we're a man or a woman, we both have both. And so the left side of our body represents our feminine energy. The right side of our body represents our masculine. And when we can work with those two energies together, then we can bring balance and sustainability to our doing and our work. A lot of us, especially women, tend to show up very masculine in our work, where we're very much doing. We're forcing things. We're trying to make things happen. And that's a very masculine way of doing things. And so when you can awaken that feminine energy for both men and women, you open up that receptivity to be able to receive and attract to you your ideal clients. You receive and attract to you more money. And that's that feminine flow. And when the feminine is flowing, we get that inspiration that then inspires and impacts our doing. And so when we've got both flowing, we can do things in a more sustainable, balanced way. So that's really my work, is helping you to see, when I do a visualization, and I would love, I have a webinar happening tomorrow and Saturday if people are interested in getting into more detail, because we don't have that much time on this show here. But I actually do 2 visualizations where you actually visualize, what does your bowl look like? What do you see in there? And that when you work with that visualization of what's showing up, and you understand what different areas of the bowls mean, you can get a better understanding of what's happening in your life and how you're showing up in your business. And then you work with that energy to shift that. And what I know is that form follows energy. And so when you have the energy to support you, it just happens so much more easier. Doesn't say that it can't happen, but it can happen with so much more ease and grace and flow that it makes it so much more fun in doing your business. And don't you want to run a business in more fun and ease and grace and flow, Carrie?
So yes, now I'm putting myself on the screen. I was just putting the link to your webinar up. So if you want to do that, which trust me you do, male or female, you want to do that. The link to get to that is my website, carrierildon.com/rebirth your radiance. Um, and yes, that's what I want. I think that's what we all want, especially those of us who become entrepreneurs. We have this vision, right? So maybe that's what we can talk about. When we talked about in my intro, it's like I have this vision of what my business is and how and being in the ease and in the flow. And I was actually, this is so cool because I was just on John's show this week, John, who happens to be in our audience, and we talked about fear of success or fear of failure. And one of the other panelists on there was saying, listen, you have to be out of balance when you start a business. You have to be out of balance. And I just, that didn't sit right with me. And I understood what he was saying. Like I got, but I thought, I don't think I have to be out of balance to do this at any stage of my business. I think when I'm out of balance, I'm running too hard in the wrong direction, or when I'm out of balance, I feel like I'm running really hard against. I make everything a running analogy, by the way, against a wall.
Make everything a bowl analogy. So, so Gary, what I find, and I get what he's saying, because I think, you know, we have moments of doing where we just got to get stuff done. And yet what I find is that when we're in that way too long, then we get into overbalance, and that's when we're running into the possibility of burnout. And by really, with my work, it's like I'm having people check in with their bowl. Your bowl is showing you how you're showing up in the world. And a lot of times that bowl might be tipped. You know, instead of being a level bowl, now it's tipped either on the, down on the right side or down on the left side, and that lets you know, hey, I'm being too much in my feminine, I'm not doing enough, or I'm being too much in my masculine. And so it's like working on how to balance that so that you can, it's all about sustainability, right? We want to be able to do our work for years down the road. We don't want to burn out and get frustrated and quit. And so when you can really tap into seeing what's the energy of my pelvic space showing me today, right now in this moment, then you can work with that. And guys, in my webinar, I do talk more about the ovaries and the uterus, because my work is mainly with women. And those organs in women are so freaking powerful. I mean, think about that uterus in there. It has the ability to bring a soul into this world, and it also has the ability to take 2 cells and create a baby. So that is a powerful structure that we as women house inside of our pelvic space, and yet we're not accessing the power and potential that's there. And so my work is really about helping people awaken and work with the energies that are there so that they can show up more powerfully and really claim their work, their power, and their love that they're here to share with the world.
And so my next question is going, okay, like sometimes it's hard for me to host this show because I am so into what you're doing, because it resonates with me, because I did that visualization with you and went, oh my gosh, and because what I found in there, right, when I connected with my pelvic space, was very different than what I was thinking in here, right? It was, and yet I knew I could trust it. I knew instantly I could, like, it was a very calming, peaceful place. But if I'm sitting here watching this, and maybe if you're totally skeptical, you're not still watching. But assuming you're still watching this and going, are you freaking kidding me? How can being in touch with my pelvis, how can visualizing my pelvic bowl help me earn more money and find more clients? I don't see the connection. Even if connecting with my pelvic bowl makes me feel more powerful, how does that lead to more clients and more money and
what I see over and over and over again with my clients is that as they connect into this space, they find their truth. Now, we all know about that monkey mind, right? Our mind is going to take us down 10 different paths and think that we have to do 10 different things in order to get our work out there in the world. And yet what I know is that when you bring those decisions, or you really connect into this space, and Carrie, I think you experienced this as well, that peace you talked about, right? There is no discussion. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the truth. this is what I need to do. And so there's so many decisions that we have to make when we're running our businesses, right? And I love the shiny object syndrome, right? There's so many different things that we could be doing or should be doing, and it's like, okay, what's my truth for me in this moment? And how do I make this decision of whether I go do this or this? And when you place that decision in your bowl, or more specifically for women in that womb space, it's like it'll give you the information that you need. So many women that I've worked with who are like doing their work, and they're like, when they connect into this area, they go, oh, I shouldn't be doing this work. I need to be doing this. You know, it's like the truth comes out and you can't hide from it anymore. And I think that might be part of why so many of us are disconnected from this space, is because we know that the truth lies down there, and sometimes we don't want to see that truth. And that's okay. But it's a great way to help get us out of that monkey mind and just connect down in there.
So that leads me, I was actually going to go a different direction. I was going to tell everybody about what happened when I put bits of my business in my bowl. I like that, by the way. But instead, I actually want to talk about that, because a lot of us women, and I would imagine moms, like despite having birthed a human out of there, and maybe we all have different birth stories, right? Like there are people who have had a cesarean section and maybe actually never passed somebody through the channel. There may be people who had birth trauma, or for me, I found I had 3 kids, and 2 of them I had an epidural, and the 3rd one I didn't, and I felt, wow, I'm so glad I didn't, because I got to experience the wholeness of that. I think that, like, this is going to take us, I don't want to head down that tangent, but just it was powerful for me to have experienced the whole shebang, right? Not to have cut myself off from the pain.
Yes.
But where was I going to go? Crap, I lost it. Okay, take me back.
No, but I feel where you're going, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to jump right in here, Carrie, because what's happened to us as women, especially with childbirth, traumas. You know, childbirth is traumatic. No matter how easy that childbirth was, it's beautiful and wonderful and very natural, but yet it can be very traumatic. It tends to disassociate us from this place. And many women have had incidences or events that have happened to them in their life that have caused us to think it's not safe for us to be in this space. So that's why we don't go down there, right? And so what, you know, my goal, my hope, my wish for all women is to help them to heal this space so that we can connect into this power center that is within us. This is our natural, rightful place that when we connect into this space and reclaim it, then magic happens. I really call this pelvis a magical place, because it's our truth detector, it's our creative center, it's whatever you need and want to know about how you're showing up in your world, you can find it down there when you connect into the space. And so I'm just hopeful that women who have had these experiences know that it is okay and it is safe for them to come back home, because this really is our home. You know, that 1st and 2nd chakras that are housed in that pelvic space is about our sense of security and belonging and family and home. And so I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think a lot of women are, you know, they're just cut off from down there because of things that have happened to us. The other thing I know about this pelvic bowl is because of all those events, it's a storage house for all those unprocessed emotions and traumas and events that have happened to us, and it gets gunked up in there. And so by clearing out that space, which is another exercise that I'll share with you on my webinar tomorrow, is really clearing that space out so that you can have a greater access, a greater clarity of it connecting into that space and knowing your truth. So it's so powerful, yet there's so much that has been stored in that space. And, you know, whether you were able to birth vaginally or C-section, also the other thing that happens is during a birth, your energy field is so open, it's so wide, it like expands out to the whole room, and anything and everything that happens to you during that birth gets stuck in your energy field, and that can really dim your light. It can really cause a huge effect on your energy field. And so helping and working with that birth field and clearing that out can help you to restore your radiance. And that's really what I'm here to do. Yeah, look at you. That's really what I'm here to do, is help women to rebirth their radiance, because we all are meant to shine brightly. And so many women have dimmed their lights because of what's happened to them. And I would like to give all women permission to really be their powerful, authentic, creative selves. And that's my work.
Well, so thank you, because I think that's what we all want. And again, I keep going back to especially those of us who have chosen to show up in the world as entrepreneurs, whether that's a mompreneur or a dudepreneur, right? But that there's something inside of us that's calling us to let our light shine, right? There's something inside of us that's calling us to take a slightly different path. And yet, when we choose to take that path, I think it's the weirdest thing in the world being on this whole entrepreneurial journey, because part of it is very business, right? Part of it is super left brain or masculine energy, or however you want to talk about it, right? It's you got to do the right things. You got to understand marketing. You got to, but the other part of it is you have to face yourself. You have to, you have to face those demons and figure out a way to deal with them. And I'm just finding so much and John saying, all men also, the world would be a much better place to dwell, then the world would be a much better place. Well, shoot, John, there's a 45-minute delay. Now I totally don't know what you're talking about. 5-second delay, seconds. But thank you for that. I'm sure it will be relevant as we go back. But regardless, I just want to say that I think, at least where I am on my entrepreneurial journey, I'm realizing how important.
There we go.
Sorry, I'm realizing how important that energetic work is. Getting in touch with all my crap and clearing it out. I'm understanding that the things that are blocking me from success aren't, marketing might be a part. There might be like very tangible physical things that are a part of it, but the core of it is something that I'm storing in my energy field. And that is, I think, is that not your message?
Totally. I say the two fastest paths to enlightenment are parenting and being an entrepreneur. It brings up all your stuff, right? And so you have to face it, and I find that it's in our energy and it's being held there, and when it's coming up it wants to be released. And so I find that if we can really go down in there and look at it and really be with it, we can shift it. And then I find that it's so much easier. It doesn't have to. And this is a whole nother, we could do a whole nother Google Hangout on this, Carrie, but the whole other aspect of my work is working with our birth imprints and our time in the womb. And I do talk about this on my webinar tomorrow, so if anybody wants to join me, you'll hear more about that. But that has a huge impact in how we're showing up in the world. And those imprints from the time in the womb are much deeper and much stronger than any of our subconscious, unconscious limiting beliefs that we're holding in there. So it's powerful work. And yes, if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you need to go there. You need to work with your energy. You need to shift those blocks and make it easier for you, because you are meant to share your gifts with the world, and you have agreed to help certain people in this life, and you need to do that and get yourself out there. So work on yourself, work on your business. The world's waiting for you.
So Lynn, I want to give that link again. To get to Lynn's webinar, you can do it through my website. So actually just carrieroldan.com/rebirth your radiance. Again, I'll put it in the comments one more time, but I can't type and talk at the same time, so you'll have to wait a second on that. If you scroll down, you'll see it, or you can remember carrieroldan.com/rebirth your radiance. Because as you can tell, you need to be on this webinar tomorrow. Already she's told us like 3 things that she's going to be helping us with. And we just need to do it. And what I want to do is, I know that there are a couple people here live, and I don't know if you guys are wanting to join us in the green room. And Lynn, I don't even know if you have time after the show. If you don't, that's fine, because I want to keep having this conversation for like another 10 or 15 minutes, mostly because I can't help but share what happened when I put bits of my business in my bowl. So for Marcus and Catherine and John and whoever else is here live, I will put the link to the green room in just a sec. Are you able to stay for a few minutes?
Just a few minutes, yes. I do have a client that I'm working on, but that'll be fine. So
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to put you on the spot there. But
that's good.
So having said that, I need to close shop because we are exactly at 11 o'clock now. So I just want to say, all right, everybody, thanks so much. Thanks, Lynn, for being here. And oh, you're so welcome. Just thanks for, sharing the goodness, right? This was meant to be. And those of you who are here live were meant to hear it. And those of you who are on replay, holy crap, I hope that you see it in time to catch the webinar, which you can get at carrieroldan.com/rebirth your radiance. So I just have a great big virtual hug for you, and thank you for coming. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same channel. Melanie McDonald will be on talking all things social media awesomeness for your business. So can't wait to see you next week, and hang tight for that link to the green room. I will post it as fast as I can. So I will see you guys next week. Talk to you later.